Yeah, it's, well, it's okay if it doesn't like go over what I'm seeing.
So I played the last one. Is that okay? Brr. It sure is cold out here. I can feel the chill from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. And these gloves aren't doing much to help. But look! This building looks so warm and inviting. They even have a flag for me. I wonder if I can get inside. Amazing! They have an automatic door. I'm so happy I can get inside and away from this cold. I wonder if they have snacks too. Oh no. How will I get up these stairs? I wonder if they have an elevator. I can hear such beautiful music up there. I wish I could join them. Oh, an elevator! How wonderful! This door sure is heavy. It's a little scary in here, but I can hear laughter upstairs, so I'll be brave. Wow, this is such a welcoming community. Everyone gets their own name tag. I wonder if I could have one someday. This sanctuary is beautiful. It's just as warm and gorgeous as I imagined. Look at that rose window, and the organ, and the people here are so kind. I'm really glad I found this place.
Karen Bush, and I have the privilege of serving as the Interim Lead Minister in partnership with UUCUC's Congregational Minister, Reverend Sally Fritchie, who is in Florida right now. We'll let her enjoy. She'll be back with us. Our congregation's mission is to build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. We are a church of many different beliefs, united through commitment to shared principles. And know that whatever form you find us today, whether you are here in the sanctuary or watching live from home or tuning in to the recording later on, this service is here for you. And we're so glad you're here with us. Remember that there is still time to send in a joy or sorrow to be read aloud later in the service. Those watching online are welcome to email your message to joysandsorrows@uucuc.org. And those in the sanctuary are invited to use the note cards in the pews, which the ushers will collect later in the service. I want to take this opportunity to thank my co-leader of this morning's service, Wendy Graves, who is an essential member of both our Buildings and Grounds Committee and our accessibility team here at UUCUC, and whose voice, heart, and spirit will play a key role throughout the morning as Wendy helps us look at ableism and disability justice. What are they, and why do they matter? I also want to thank our other special speakers. Beth's eyes just got so big with sparkles. Paul Kaiser and Beth Simpson, who will share learnings and inspirations with us out of their life journeys this past year as their voices join mine own, Wendy's, and many others in a call to this congregation to take a new and far more reaching commitment to disability justice here at UUCUC, in the understanding that justice work to ring true anywhere in our lives, it must start first and foremost right here, right where we are. I want to take a moment also to mention 3 names, one who's with us this morning and 2 others who you will possibly not meet in person, but who are part of this story. The first is Dr. Kevin Pettit, who is watching this service. He's a longtime friend of mine and was part of our campus ministry over on campus with the UCC. Finished his doctorate in physics, his wife, her doctorate in English, moved and had his dream job with a small liberal arts college that he went to. They were driving with their 2-year-old son. This is back in the late 90s when a woman ran a red light during the fog. And Kevin, in a moment, life was changed on a dime. And he was in a coma for quite a while. Miraculously beat the odds, came out of that with catastrophic brain injury, and has spent the years recovering, and also is a speaker and an activist to disability justice, particularly focusing on congregations coming into today's world with disability justice. So he is watching our service, and Dr. Pettit, thank you for all that you do and for being with us this morning. The other person I want to mention is someone I've known for many years by the name of Robin Arbeiter. Some of you may know her. She's an activist, powerhouse, smartest person I've probably met on this planet. I met her Hillel when she was on staff there years ago. And her spirit would love to be part of this community, but she uses an electric chair, so she can't come be with us. Her work throughout our community, though, continues on in powerful ways, and I hold her up as another inspiration for today's service of those who are with us and can only be with us in spirit, but who would love to be with us in body. And the last person I want to mention is our own Beth Simpson, who has inspired with her sparkle and her spirit and her tenacity and her courage, and many of you for over the years, her music. Beth experienced a profound stroke a year ago at a very young age. In my book, I'm almost 64, almost 65, and who's going to talk to us today, as is her partner, Paul, who's journeyed. It's his journey too. And this service, you are a huge inspiration to the service, and we are glad you're with us, and we'll be hearing from you. So let us all take a breath. This is powerful, heavy stuff. Important conversations. And may we turn now, and wherever you are, and greet your neighbor. We're here together, and it's good stuff, with the passing of the peace.
Good morning. And we're going to continue with our chalice lighting, which is responsive. So I will be taking the part of number 1, and you are the many. And it's on the 3rd page in your bulletin. This is a chalice lighting by UU Minister Reverend Erica Hewitt. I'll signal you when it's your turn, okay? As we light this chalice, let us remember to celebrate that each of our bodies was woven together in the depth of mystery, cells multiplying, tissue taking form, organs taking up their function, all under the silky cover of skin. May we bring to our intricately woven bodies a sense of sacred caretaking. Let us gather in reverence for the gift of these bodies, whatever their ages, their shapes, their abilities, and may we know them to be channels of the world coming alive through us. May we bring to our intricately woven bodies a sense of sacred caretaking. These bodies, these blessings, bring the world to life through seeing, taste, hearing, scent, and touch. May we bring to our intricately woven bodies a sense of sacred caretaking. In doing so, let us also be grateful for the embrace of the holy, the presence that creates and sustains life, the mystery that knit together each of our bodies, and the force of love that celebrates our being. On this day, and all days of life, may we bring to our intricately woven bodies a sense of sacred caretaking. Amen.
Is this on? This is for the kids that come forward, whoever defines themselves as a kid. And come forward and join Wendy and I. Wendy, you just take your time. However, do you want us to come have the chairs up on the stage with that? Okay. There we go. So kids, come on down. We've got some cool things to show you. Do we bring it over there? You go. Are you good? Okay. We'll just take time, and you guys have a seat. Look at all you guys. This is our friend Wendy. She's your friend too. She's part of your church, and you're part of hers. Come on in. You know what? Can you guys scoot on in here because there's some cool things she's going to show you. You guys in the back, can you come on down over this way? Come on down. We'll take time. One of our things our service is about is how to take time for each other, to get what we need to get, to give each other time and space. So we're going to share the microphone. So you just kind of grab it or nod at me when you need it, want it. And I had it. So this is Wendy, and I'm Reverend KB, who I think I would know all you guys. And I'm going to ask Wendy a question or two and see what she says to us. Wendy, I hear this word ableism, and I hear this word disability justice. What in the heck? What are those?
Well, I think of ableism is when people think less of you because you're different. Maybe you can't walk or see or hear as well as others. You might think differently, learn differently, speak differently, but people think a little bit less of you because you're not as what they consider to be able as everybody else.
So I have a friend that has one incredibly wonderful brain and spirit, but he has a really hard time reading. He has something called dyslexia. Would that be when things are set up so that he can't participate? Would that be an example of ableism? Oh, sure. Okay. And what about disability justice? What is that?
Well, I think of disability justice as making sure that everybody has a way to be included and comfortably included. It's kind of like There were, a long time ago, people that were in wheelchairs, they used to not leave their houses. Once they got in a wheelchair, they were expected just to stay home. When we built our church, that was back when people in wheelchairs didn't go out. They didn't go to church. And you'll notice every door you go in has lots of steps. So it makes it hard for people in a wheelchair, or even somebody like me that uses a walker to get inside the building. So disability justice is making it a comfortable, welcoming environment for everybody and making sure everybody can be included. And that's what I think is beautiful about our church, is that we do that.
And we're wanting to do it a little bit more than we are right now. Something you and I have been talking about, and we'll hear about that. So you had a question you wanted to ask the kids about something about something about you.
Well, do you notice how I might be a little bit different than you guys? What ways, what tools do I use that help me? That's right. I use a walker. Or I use a cane, and I do that to help me walk. The right side of my body doesn't work as well, and I walk slower, and sometimes I need to rest. And I also have a knee brace on my foot that helps me lift this foot up so I can get around. Do you guys know people that use different tools? Can you think of what some of them are? What about these? Glasses. Do you know people that wear hearing aids? Yeah. And there are some people that learn differently. Some people wear headphones because loud sounds bother them. But there's lots of different tools that we have that help us all fit in and work together.
I know that when my son was a little boy, he was in a classroom where the teacher on purpose didn't have a lot of posters on the wall, because some kids in the class their minds would get so kind of wired by all the colors and all the noise, it made it hard for learn. Do you know of a friend or anyone in your life who might do things a little differently than you do because the way their bodies are, the way their heads work is a little different? I see a lot of nods. Yeah, that we're each different. So you mentioned something about maybe the kids might get a little closer look at and then I didn't set our timer, Wendy. How about we do that? We let the kids take a look, and then we'll send the kids to Sunday school. But also, if you have any questions.
Do you guys have any questions at all?
Yes, Vera. You want to know why you have to wear it? Oh. I thought she said, I have to wear the string. She had a funny dream that a friend of hers had to put something on his eyes. Well, you know what? I know that there is a time when one of my kids had some years of upset tummy, and that can be part of it. Sounds like in your dreams someone had a pretty upset tummy. Thank you. Any other questions before Wendy's going to pass around and see if you want to touch one of her pieces of equipment, and then we'll go from there. Any other questions? Do you want to go ahead and... And how about we do this? On your way to to RE, if you want to walk by, and we'll do it this way. Go ahead, if you guys all want to stand, and as you walk by, and so that is teachers, that's a signal we're going to go ahead and get ready to go into our RE downstairs. I always miss you kids when you go. I'll be honest with you. It's just kind of the party goes, but we still have a good time. But you would? You know, that happened. You fell down and scraped both your knees, and that is exactly what we're talking about. Things happen to our bodies, Every single one of us. And we as a church want to do the best we can to take care of each other when our bodies are having all kinds of needs. So you want to just go by and you can kind of roll that or hold her. We're making this up, kids. We're just going to act like we know what we're doing. So if you want to go by, you can push that if you want. I don't mean to direct, but don't be shy. And we'll go head on out. We're going to head out over by Juan. And Juan, can you move the walker too so they can come get by? So there's a path. Thank you. Would you play some going out music? Thank you. Juan, he pivots so well. Some happy going out music. And we'll see you after Sunday school. If you guys want to touch this on your way out and see how heavy it is. Anyone want to see how heavy it is? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Pretty light, yeah. You do too? And after you have a chance, go ahead and go on out, and you can find your teachers that way today. We'll do this. So glad to have you kids with us. When you're our age, so many of us will be needing this all the more. There you go on out. You can go on out. If you want to hold it on your way out, you can, but you don't have to. Just look at it. If you want to rise and join in to Morning is Broken. Please be seated, yes. And now we're going to hear a little interview between Wendy and myself. I just washed my hair. We were having this conversation, and it was going so well. I'm like, how about we record this for the congregation? Because it was right on point. So don't look at me, look at Wendy. And we'll now have Wendy's going to talk to us on Zoom. Hey, Wendy, I appreciate you telling me and us your story, and I wondered if you would mind sharing again about how old you were and just about your diagnosis, and just share again about how that unfolded for you and then coming to the church and your experience, and anywhere you want to go from there. We'd appreciate it.
Okay. Well, I was first diagnosed with MS in 1987. And it was right when I got out of graduate school. I was just having very minor symptoms, blurred vision in one eye and a little numbness. And I was diagnosed with MS then. And I had planned on remaining symptom-free for the rest of my life. However, within 10 years, my disability had worsened significantly. I was in a scooter. I had, dexterity issues, with my hands, and I couldn't do my job any longer. So I had to be on disability, and I was in a scooter. So that's how my multiple sclerosis unfolded.
And you mentioned about, thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned about your various scooters and coming to UUCUC and your journey there.
Well, one of the things that brought me to UUC was I was a questioning Christian throughout my life, and however, one thing that bothered me significantly was the way that people with same-sex partners were treated in the various churches that I'd been in, and I was looking for someplace that was welcoming to everybody. So when I first came to UUC, I was in a small scooter. As my disability worsened, I had a fleet of various vehicles, but I had a small scooter. I had a lift on the back of my van, and I had a small scooter that I would use when I'd go to, restaurants and shopping and things like that. And then I had a larger scooter that I used when I went to parks and watched my kids in sporting events and fields and various things like that. So when I very first came to the church, my small scooter just fit into the Elevet. I was pretty much toe to toe. And I just loved the church. I felt like I had found my spiritual home, from the first time I went. Then I started having some mechanical problems with my small scooter. And I was in a position, I knew that my bigger scooter would not be able to fit in the Elevet. And at that point in my life, I did not have very good strength and mobility in terms of my ability to be able to stand and walk with a walker very well. But I knew that was the only way I was going to be able to get in our church. Because
you mentioned something with your hands too, your dexterity.
Yes, I still do have, dexterity issues with my hands and things. But I knew that the only way I was going to be able to come to the church was to be able to use a walker, because my small scooter wasn't going to fit in the Elevet. So the church was actually the first place that I went outside of my home using just my walker, which was a scary thing for me. I didn't know if I would have the strength. I didn't know if I'd be able to get to the restroom in time if I needed to, but I did. But I thought it was ironic that what brought me to the church was wanting a more inclusive place that was accepting for everybody, but then kind of realizing that unfortunately our church was it wasn't a very welcoming environment for people with mobility issues. And so that's where I am.
Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for agreeing to have that we can share this part of your story with the church as we strive always to find our way forward. So to make changes, to change that, to make that more in line with our values. So thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
And we'll be hearing more from Wendy in Zoom call a little later as well. Thank you, Wendy. Each Sunday, we bring our individual joys, sorrows, and concerns to our time together. Please bring to mind the joys and sorrows in your life, as well as those of the wider world. For all of us here, there will be cards in the back of the pew, and for those with us online, please send yours in to joysandsorrows@uucuc.org. As you've written yours, please pass it to the end of the outer aisle, and the ushers will bring them forward. Now, during the pause while people are writing and our blessing song is playing, those who wish to can come forward and take a moment at our altar table. Or a table, for those in the back of the room might prefer to go to a table over on the side and place any joys and sorrows card you have in the basket there, as well as a stone and or flower into the shared vessel of water. Stones which will sink to the bottom where they will rest in groundedness to signify the needs of our bodies and the bodies of our fellow living creatures and that of our planet, for we are all made of perishable and sacred stuff. The flower petals you may put in also that will float and balance delicately between water and air to signify the needs of our spirit. I'm a believer in that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that we are embedded in the web of life that connects all things. So whether we come forward or remain seated, whether our joys and sorrows are shared aloud or remain in the silence of our hearts, let us offer them now into the deep embrace of the divine heart, which connects us all, as Juan now plays our blessing song.
And
From Katie Madigan. Please keep the students and staff of Urbana School District in your hearts as we deal with the untimely deaths of a student to gun violence, the young fiance of a teacher at Urbana Early Childhood School, and a beloved teacher at Dr. Preston Williams Elementary. This is from Jack Paxton, who also knows Kevin Pettit, Dr. Pettit, who I mentioned. I took Kevin's amazing son, Andrew, to Kevin's master's degree graduation in Denver. This was some time after his traumatic injury where the doctors thought he might not even survive. Kevin's efforts have created faithforall.org, and I urge you all to support and contact him so that all are welcome. And I didn't share that his wife was mildly injured and the son was not injured, and I regret not sharing that. It was Kevin that got hit. Olivia McHughes. I'm sad I can't be there. I got to work this morning, but I can't wait to come back. Brandy Barter Storm. Brandy Barter Storm would like to share a joy. This week, she is 9 months pregnant as a surrogate to 2 lovely dads from Spain. The daddies will be arriving to Urbana in a few weeks to welcome their first child, a baby boy. Positive vibes, welcome for a healthy delivery for Brandy and her belly buddy. Let's see here. From Jenny G. I'm mourning the passing of my beloved friend, Jared Finkelstein. I'm celebrating the friendship, hugs, and jokes he brought to my life. Jody Hanger. My mom gave us all a good scare this week when she was hospitalized with stroke symptoms. Thankfully, she is home and recovering with no lingering effects. From Brianne. This week, I was finally able to move into an apartment with my two partners who are the truest family I've had. Anonymous. I'm in a period of transition, recovering from a mental illness. Please think positive thoughts as I return to the joy. From Jenny Hunt. We got to visit with my brother from Arizona this week. My mother was thrilled to see him. I'm sure she was. From Jim and Sandy Handom. Congratulations to Dr. MR I think MR actually had to slip out. So we'll send it for Dr. MR for finishing their dissertation defense this week. Is that a yes? If I had just finished my doctoral dissertation, I might have slipped out too after the choir. Jerry Carden. Gratitude for the small team of people that are getting my estimates on replacing our Elevet installed in the 1980s and desperately needs replacements. We have some options, looking very promising. So thank you to our buildings and grounds team and accessibility team. Watch for more information. Yes, thank you to all of those who keep our building going. There's a lot of love and care and angst and energy that goes into that. And Jerry is a key person. Thank you, Jerry. From Bethany, immense joy as MR defended their dissertation on Friday, becoming Dr. MR Rowland. Yes. And this is one that I also have written down. This is from Jenny Zeidler. My brother Clint passed away on February 25th. He was the sibling closest in age to me, and we were both different in some of the same sorts of ways. But creatives and those who differ often also struggle with that otherness, and frequently mental illness. The news of my brother's death came 2 days after we lost our oldest dog, Dot. It has been a difficult month. From Marcia Clinard. Amy Meyer, my beloved friend and former UU member, was unable to have the anticipated surgery in Mayo this week after it was discovered that the tumor had grown and the cancer had spread. The chemotherapy was unsuccessful. There are no curative options available. Please keep Amy and her husband Bill and her other family members in your heart and prayers. From Eileen Borja. Sorrow that we were unable to attend on March 12th, but joyful to learn that Walter McMahon was among the honorees who have given their time, hearts, minds, and resources to UUCUC for a very long time. Rachel Storm. I just want to take a moment to speak her name into this room. Claire Zook. I miss her every day and cherish her spirit, the way she carried us in the community and the mighty force she was and forever will be. May her memory continue to bless all of us who knew her. And I had added on this that I have known Claire since I was 13 years old. She was one of my mom's best friends. And then I had the privilege of being her colleague for decades as well. I join you in missing her and appreciating her spirit. You are now invited to close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take some deep cleansing breaths. And as Juan plays some music, I'd like to share with you some words from the heart of the late Thich Nhat Hanh, Buddhist priest, teacher to many of us, and peace activist. A prayer for peace. Let us be at peace with our bodies and our minds. Let us return to ourselves and become holy ourselves. Let us be aware of the source of being, common to us all and to all living beings. Evoking the presence of the great compassion, let us fill our hearts with our own compassion toward ourselves and toward all living beings. Let us pray that we ourselves cease to be the cause of suffering to each other. With humility, with awareness of the existence of life and of the sufferings that are going on around us, let us practice the establishment of peace. Amen. We'll now breathe and be together in this next music from meditation.
Now for our community matters, Kate, our new office administrator. Kate, can you stand up and wave? So, is she here?
Yeah, she's back.
Yeah, there. Okay. She will be in Fellowship Hall after the service to help people get signed up for Breeze if you haven't done so yet, because it's where everything is happening. You want to be signed up. Now we have a video about the auction, and the sound is rather low, so we will all listen very carefully.
Hello, I'm Chris Hanauer, and I'm a member of your service auction committee. What is the service auction, you ask? It's an annual event where members of the church offer items and services to each other in an auction, and all of the proceeds go to our church home. This year, our auction is on the evening of Saturday, April 15th at the church and online.
Saturday, April 15th.
Our theme this year is Slumber Party, and in order to get into the spirit of the thing, your auction committee recently got together and, well, let's just see how it went.
Anthony, truth or dare?
Dare.
I dare you to make the food for the auction next time.
Okay.
Hey, Penny, do you think Johnny's going to ask you to the auction?
Well, he better, because one of his bands is playing, and I definitely like to go hear his band. So, yeah.
So Anthony made dinner for 150 people. But when we got there, only 5 people showed up!
Trust me, Chris. Like bidding at the auction, this will be painless.
Yeah. So how can you help? Visit the auction website and buy a dinner ticket and, more importantly, consider making a donation. If you have a skill that you'd like to share, donate it. If you have a great idea for a dinner party, donate it. If you can perform reconstructive surgery on an earlobe, donate it. Please, no, really, please, donate it. We'll be in the fellowship hall after each service between now and the auction to answer questions and to get you signed up.
Is an integral part of the garden project. The UU Church is supporting the Randolph Street Community Garden through our March shared offering and through volunteer garden workers, as was done yesterday, with a wonderful team of UUCUC friends and members. Your next opportunity to join one of our UU volunteer work crews comes on Saturday, April 1st. The work times are from noon until 3. We invite you to give whatever is generous for you and know that anything you contribute will be gratefully received and put to use to help make the real impact right here in our community. The offering will now be taken.
I wanted to let you know Juan, as he often does, chose that piece. It is from a
So you're
movie,
talking
I
about,
Don't Speak French.
People are surprised when they find out about what it's really like.
Yeah, people, I think they don't understand how limiting
We've got
certain
the reading
things can
next.
be. And I've just had so many
I heard my
people
voice. That's always a
talk
little
to me
unnerving.
how they'll have a surgery or something. And
My
their
therapist
mobility
might have
will be
something to say
limited
about that.
for a short period of time.
That
And
piece-
they're so surprised if they're in a wheelchair or
Well-
they're even pushing somebody in a wheelchair that
we'll hear this, but it's not for a little while yet. There we go. There we go. Anyway, that song is from a movie that's a journey about a young woman who is the only hearing person in her family. And Juan, thank you for choosing that. As say, MR was going to sing it in French, but then maybe we'll have that another time. But when I was in seminary for youth ministry, we each adopted a teen, and the teen that I adopted was the only hearing person in her family. And it just brings up the point of all the ways that we can be isolated from each other in profound ways, and the importance of church. So thank you, Juan, for both choosing and playing that beautiful piece. I thought you all might like to know its background.
And our reading, Rev KB has selected for us this morning, comes from the writings by disabled theologian Sharon Betcher in her book, Spirit and the Politics of Disablement. She writes, "A religion that would truly offer hope to the disabled would have much less to do with promising a future where tears will be no more than with promising the physical space where we, the disabled, can limp or wheel up or lie at the table without encountering a gauntlet of impediments or the alienating social gaze, because all bodies present have metabolized their own mortality, and the welcome is truly and deeply grounded in actuality. That is, they have learned to hold the body deeply and humbly in mind."
I think without further ado, I'd like to invite Paul and Beth to come forward. And Paul is going to, well, I'll let him share what he's going to do. Is this, Beth, is this okay for you? Beth, where did you want to share? For the speaking, just let us know. Let's put this right here. Wherever you want.
Alrighty, can you hear me okay? Yeah, I have a couple success stories to share real quick. First of all, back in the 80s, when I was a kid, I went to a tiny church in a tiny town, and I noticed that people who had disabilities in town, they didn't come to church. Okay, I noticed that. And I noticed that people who took on disabilities through age or accidents or different things like that, they stopped coming to church. And I thought, well, that's pretty sad, but I guess that's just how it is. When you have disabilities, your life just goes into decline, and I can't do anything about it. But the people in that tiny church, they saw an opportunity to do better. And what they did, again, this is the 80s, okay? They made it so we put in a ramp, okay? And they put in automatic doors, and they made an accessible bathroom. Then they talked to us in the youth group, and they sent us out to the homes. There were 11 folks who had stopped coming to church because they'd taken on disabilities and they had lost their access to the church. They sent us youth out to those homes, and we said hello, and we told them about the changes we made, and we showed them pictures. And we vowed to be their escorts for the next few Sundays at church so they could get used to those changes and so that they could talk to us about other concerns that they had. And we brought those people back in. And what I learned was the disability did not lead to the decline in their lives necessarily. It was when any of us lose access to the world around us, that's when our lives can fall into decline. When we lose access to the services we need, and when we lose access to our community and to each other. So that's a lesson I learned back in the 80s from that tiny church. I also learned that accessibility helps everyone, because we used that ramp and that door so many times, moving equipment in and out of that church, and that big accessible bathroom was a favorite place for costume changes when we were doing things. So for real, accessibility helps everyone. My second success story involves this church right here, and you might want to hold hands with a willing neighbor if you have a willing neighbor right now, because in 2020, COVID took away access to almost everything for a lot of us, and we all in some way or another fell into decline. COVID took away access to this building, to these services, to the fellowship hall, to our songs. COVID took away access to each other. But the church, some folks, and I don't even know who they all are, I wish I did, I guess I could find out, but the church, some folks were motivated and they said, we have an opportunity to do better. And the next thing you know, we had services online. We gained some access back, some of that access we lost, and we slowed our decline a little bit. And then those people said, well, we can do better. And so then we had access to things like Soul Matters and our other groups that we used to get together. We regained some access to each other through Zoom. They showed us how to use it, and here it was, this resource. That was great. And then they said, we can still do better. And they got together with the hard process of putting together policies so that we could at least try to get together in person somewhere safely, outside, in a park, whatever. And so they did better, and we gained some access back, and we slowed our decline. And now we're here today, we're in the sanctuary, we're here at the service, we're going to meet with each other over here at the fellowship hall, and we've got our songs and all that good stuff. But guess what? The streaming is still happening. The Zoom meetings are still happening. And why is that? It's because accessibility helps everyone. When we were motivated and brought this to our church, and then we realized, wait a minute, with streaming the services, if we have to go across the country to help a friend, we don't have to miss the service. Or if we want to share something or what was said at that service, we can check it out. The parent caregiver support group, which I love so much on Saturday mornings, it wouldn't exist without Zoom, because when we're meeting, we've got people in the other room we're taking care of. We can't leave and come here and be in person as much as we'd love to. But anyway, those services, when we decided to do better, they benefited everyone, not just the folks that had a hard time getting here to church. Now, I look around the church and I see a lot of accessibility, a lot of things we've done for accessibility. But I do hear, there is a common thing with this Elevet. I hear things from people in the church and from outside of the church. I'm just using this as an example. But I want to bring up a quote that I remember from Maya Angelou. They said, "Do your best until you know better. And when you know better, do better." And I think maybe the Elevet is an example of that. At some point in time, I don't know when it was, but people said we need to do something. And the Elevet, that was the answer. That was deemed the best at that time. There it is. But now I think we're starting to know better, that maybe there's some improvements that can be made. And I hope that we take that opportunity to do better. I think maybe that's all I have to say. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. I know you're looking at my dress. I'm not commenting on who they're from, but everything is from somebody, you know. It's cool. This, oh my God, this last summer is amazing. I'll tell you later. Okay. I am a stroke survivor. What? What? I don't know. Okay. It was Saturday. I sat alone on the floor in the morning by myself for 9 hours. 9 hours. I was pretty confused, but it was okay. You know what I'm saying? No, you don't, unless you've been there before. It was okay. I could have died, but I was not scared. What? I was not scared. I was not scared. Eventually, I decided to stay alive, though. That meant getting help. I couldn't read phone numbers, so I had to wait. Finally, the phone rang, and I picked up, but all I could say was yes and no. Everybody came to the rescue, to my rescue. My family came to our rescue, Paul's rescue. In the hospital, people came to see me every day, every evening. I was in there for 6 weeks. Everyone was there with me for 6 weeks. That's awesome. UU Food Train was amazing and so very valuable. They helped me even though I didn't know them all personally. I needed help, and I received help. And let's be clear, I still need help. Yes. The number of people who have helped is large. I can't quite imagine it. I still need help, and people know that I know, and people that I don't know are there to care for me. In February of last year, I started my celebrations again with Imbolc. Oh my God, that's today. What? Come on over at 1 p.m. This is today, to my house. You can talk to me out after the fellowship hall. Since then, I have had a celebration during each of the seasons, and in between. That makes them one month and 2 weeks apart. We've just been going around through the seasons. We celebrate the solstices. The time goes by, and the seasons have begun to wrap themselves around. It will happen as long as the earth and sun and weather keep coming on, until we die. I got a flip side on what it's like to come close to dying. It's peaceful. Not scary at all. It's so cool. But I now know what it's like to not get up the stairs, to not be able to get back to your seat in the middle of church, like last week, to not get to use the elevator. But seriously, not even to being allowed to use the elevator, so you have no way to get upstairs. And anyways. What is it like for people who used to come to church and who no longer can come because they are excluded? Because we have not looked at the answer to why didn't Jane come to church for as long as it takes to get an answer. Like 6 months. I mean, you know what I mean? Just like, okay, hi, for speaking out for 4 weeks until something was done. In this case, for the poinsettia glass right up there, right? Like, this has been up there for a while now. Now it's just not there. Stay tuned. We'll find out. The thing is, I have a community. I have a family. I don't know what I would do without them. But I don't have to worry about that. All the while, we've just been going around. Through the seasons, we celebrate the solstices. The time goes by. It will happen as long as the earth and sun and the weather keep coming on, until we die. It's okay.
We'll see you in a minute singing for us. If this weren't the last time that I'm going to be at the pulpit, I wouldn't say another thing. But it's my last time where I'm the lead of the service here. So I have about a minute to share with you, okay? This service has really touched many of us in preparing, as I hope it has you, and leading up to it. And it is appropriate, it's my last. Not that you won't see me up there helping Reverend Sally, but this is good. And it's all good. This is good. This is good. By the way, thank you. This is my dream for you. Comes out of this service. Do with it as you will. My friends, my dream for you. And over in a community where I was for 33 years, when we left, we had ramps, elevators, air conditioning in the sanctuary, up to code kitchen, smaller, without as many resources, congregations. So you know where I'm going. My dream for you, and feeding the homeless every Monday night my dream for you is in a future in which this congregation thrives and grows in mission and impact. My dream for you is that in 2023 and beyond, this congregation will join the countless other UU congregation, including Reverend Sally's home church, who have been and are continuing to take the collective leap of faith in transforming their antiquated, inaccessible buildings completely as they seek to work for justice right where they are, as they strive to invest in the future of Unitarian Universalism. I will tell you that my dream for you necessarily requires a fully renovated, truly accessible building. I'd knock it down and start over. A fully accessible building able to enable rather than to inhibit this congregation's mission of radical welcome, of deep connection, and help to heal the world as together you continue to inspire. You continue to promote justice and find peace. Finally, to become that place that is the most accessible building on the block, rather than continue to be one of the least accessible ones. To finally be able to more fully open the circle wide and to offer a fuller welcome and home without physical impediments to the seeking stranger, as well as to the familiar friend coming in the door. Whatever their circumstances and wherever they are in their life's journey. For true justice making begins not out there in the far reaches of the world, but right here at home. Amen. We now are going to turn to our closing hymn, which Julia is going to lead us forward. And those who are comfortable standing and would like to stand, please stand. And others, be at peace sitting. We sing, "Love has broken down the walls." I invite you to consider the words as you sing. Let your heart, your body, your spirit, your passion grab the words.
This one is not in our hymnal.
Oh, you know what? You know what? Now that I said that, I totally cut off the video. We have a 6-minute video of, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put it on the web page. There was another video of Wendy giving a challenge to the church. Wendy, you cool with that? We're going to put it on the web page. It was meant to be, thank you, it was more of our Zoom call, so please go for it.
All righty. Is the volume all right? Hello? How about that? No?
Start singing and we'll tell you.
All right. How about, hold on, I'm getting pantomime from above. Oh.
Making her way downtown. Beth, are you singing this? Love has broken down the wall.
No, this is our closing hymn, and then Beth is the postlude.
That's right, people.
We're all in this together.
Okay. All right. I think we're good to go. I will just be loud. So this one is not in our hymnal, so I'm gonna sing through the first verse, and then we will do it all together. The melody stays the same throughout. So it goes like this. Love has broken down the wall. Love has broken down the wall. Let's join our hearts as one. Love has broken down the wall. All right, can I handle that? Yeah. Woo! All right, let's take it from the top. Love has broken down the wall. Love has broken down the wall. Let's join our hearts as one. Love has broken down the wall. We're accepted as we are. We're accepted as we are.
And just before our closing, I just want to make a point of thanking KB for coming out of retirement and helping us in our time of need. Thank you very much. And for our closing words and chalice extinguishing, This Is My Wish for You by Ralph Waldo Emerson. You are invited to join me in our chalice extinguishing, either by listening, following along silently, or joining me as we read out loud. As we go from this place, may we take with us this blessing to live and to share, comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, smooth, straight paths cleared of rocks to ease our way, rainbows to follow the clouds, laughter to kiss our lips, sunsets to warm our hearts, hugs when spirits sag, beauty for our eyes to see, friendships to brighten our being, faith so that we can believe in life, confidence when in doubt, courage to know ourselves, patience to accept the truth, love to complete our lives. And now,
I'm going to bring the bowl just to do it.
last ring. Beth Simpson and Paul Kaiser will sing a song written by Beth.
Is that turned on? You want to go check it? Yeah. Let Jim turn it on for you. Can we give her another line? Can we use this one, Selena? How about this? Beth, you okay with this? Let's give you this one.
That's okay. Hey, all right. It's a long and far fight, but we're going to win it. Seriously, Olivet, here we come. When you are near, I know you're near. When you are gone, I know you're gone. So when you're near, please stay. And when you're gone, don't be long. It's not the distance, but the closeness that breaks my heart. When you are here with me, then we are so far apart. We are two lifelines that break lines across this country. As you go, don't ever go on wondering what you mean to me. You are my family. There is a compass nestled here inside of me. Would I go just know how to return like a book to the library? We are family. We don't need biology to know we are kindred souls, though we are each complete. Together we're more than whole. And remember what Joni said about papers and City Hall. You know I've got your back, even when the State House falls. There is a myth about Hydra with wounds leave no scars. That type of healing reminds me of ours when our tears plant new flowers. We have superpowers. There is a gold thread stretched between your anchor and mine. It gets grounded, it shows what a flight and shows what a nest. When we're tired, we are hardwired. So when you are near, I know you're near. And when you are gone, I know you're gone. So when you're near, please stay. And when you're gone, don't be long. When you are near, I know you're near. And when you're gone, I know you're gone. So when you're near, please stay. When you're gone,